Hello, everybody. Welcome to It All Goes Back to Sonic. I think episode 18. Yes, it's episode 18, where we cover the world's greatest, longest-running Sonic the Hedgehog comic, which I think is also the longest-running video game comic, but I digress. My name is MegaFire, and I am joined by my wonderful co-hosts, Harvek, Dorko
I love
for
Taken.
You. He loves Taken. Dorko for you, and Bob Hood.
Me.
We were just talking about Taken because of the Helldivers trailer that was posted. I'm gonna give context to this. Otherwise,
it's a
it
very
makes no
highly
sense.
specific thing to reference. Like, there's this weird little Helldivers commercial thing that referenced like a Taken 3.
Taken 3.
I was just gonna leave it like all random, but that works too.
We read quite a lot this week, or this, I guess it's been a few weeks. If you're catching this after we had a pretty big hiatus. I haven't posted anything. I came back from Japan and I was just trying to restock our backlog of stuff. And anyway, I know you're gonna get this way after, but it's been a minute. Right now it's April. We're recording this, but you'll probably hear this in May. So yeah, we read quite a stack. I guess we'll just keep you guessing when we're stopping. But we're starting off with Sonic the Hedgehog number 71. So Bob, usually this is the part where I get everybody's summaries on it, but I'm just gonna dive right in. 71, let's go.
Yeah. Okay. So 71. Tails and Amy fly to the library in Mobotropolis. They meet Jeremiah, who's been working to preserve books written by his grandfather, who happens to be Jack Kirby. He hands Tails a book about the history of Tails' people and how Alexander helped build Mobotropolis. But before we can find out how this leads to the start of the Great War, we just got right to our next story. And this next story tells the story beats in reverse chronological order. Therefore, so does the summary, because I don't like to wait until the end to start writing these. So here's how this plays out. Sonic, the first thing we see of Sonic is he's adapted his modern green-eyed appearance, longer hair, etc., what have you. So how did this happen? So 20 minutes ago, Sonic saved the world, and his appearance has changed because of what he's just did, is what they're saying. 40 minutes earlier, Sonic, before he gets this change, is equipped with a suit and a super emerald strapped to the back. And then he starts racing across the planet at increasing speeds, and his fur changes color depending on where he is. He's like shifting between Super Sonic and then into Ultra Sonic, and then he just sort of side grades into Grass Sonic.
And then they just start adding a whole bunch of new OCs.
Yes. He manages to get the time beam onto his trail, and he appears to be hit. So I guess that's how that happened. But what's the time beam? Well, 30 minutes earlier, some kind of beam from the sky appears to be causing time to flow backwards in Knothole Village. The beam is forcing Knothole, which, as a reminder, is located 3 hours ahead in time ever since it was hit by the Ultimate Annihilator. So getting hit by the time beam is trying to resume its proper place within time, but if the time beam if it's active too long, it'll create a tear in space-time and blow up the planet. So
I'm impressed that you remember the convoluted complexity of that bullshit.
I had to read ahead to remember why Knothole is special, is because there was a whole it got hit and time space shit happened. Anyway, Sonic and Nate Morgan plot a way to direct the beam somewhere else. So 10 minutes sooner, Sonic manages to break through the barrier. 8 minutes ago, Sonic and Sally notice something is wrong, as they see Uncle Chuck is walking backwards, not responding to anything they're saying. So this is when Sonic and Sally realize they're trapped going forward while time goes backward in Knothole Village. So Sonic says, here goes nothing, before trying something to get out. 10 minutes ago, an oak tunnel that Sally and Sonic slide through to get to Knothole has turned through this bright light.
My favorite OTP, Salic.
And they barely slip through it together. 7 minutes ago, Sonic and Sally are discussing Queen Alicia's state of being and hope for the best. But as they open the entrance to Knothole, they're flashbanged by strange light coming out of the entrance. 15 minutes ago, this story starts. King Acorn reunites with his son, and then 1 hour earlier, we see that one mystery spacecraft that we keep seeing firing the beam that started this whole problem. And that's the end.
And at the very last page, we get the actual
The
title. With all of the artists and writers and everything, all of their stuff is reversed. I guess I'll start off by saying I think that this is really cool. Like the concept of it was really cool, but I think y'all just kind of rubbed off on me, and I was kind of annoyed reading through it, where it was like, I like it, but I'm also like kind of confused, and I've read through this comic a few times. Like, I get what it's trying to do.
Yeah, but I think the confusion was the point. So I'm giving it a pass on this one. I actually was alright with this one. I liked it.
I liked it too. Mm-hmm.
Even if it was like the most cursed summary writing ever. But yeah.
Did we really need like something this complicated to explain why Sonic has buckles on his shoes and green eyes now?
Yeah, they needed an excuse.
Yeah, it's good storytelling.
He had brown eyes before. I mean, suddenly nope.
Well, see, Sally's fur changed because she was actually she had a dye incident, and that's why it's perfectly normal that she's got brown fur, you know, not pink fur. So they had to do something similar, you know. And ink spilled on her hair, and a laser beam shot Sonic.
Whoa, Uncle Chuck! Thanks for the new contacts.
There
you go.
Well, they wanted to make it more permanent. But yeah, okay. So I wanted to just start with this. I really like this cover a lot. I think it's really neat because there's a little detail. There's a lot of attention to detail in this issue. Actually, it starts with the cover where Spaz's name is reversed because it's through the mirror. Which shows that the beginning of the story is, you know, when Sonic's got green eyes. I thought that was pretty neat.
He's finally turning into Sonic.
He's finally real. And I think that it's really funny that the first line that he says in the comic is like, "Man, this is the weirdest thing ever," and it's just like, "I got buckles on my shoes." I'm like, what? Why is that how is that? I feel like there's weirder things that have happened to you.
The cover tagline of like probably the strangest Sonic issue you'll ever read.
Yeah,
is that a promise?
No, it's not.
I don't know about that.
Arguably, it isn't so far.
First of all, there are stranger things yet to come.
Now the whole village doing LSD.
Oh no, they're gonna die.
So he has strapped to his back the Super Emerald, which is actually something from Sonic 67. It's that artificial Chaos Emerald that Nate Morgan created, just to remind people. Because, you know, there's already now a couple iterations of the different Emerald things. We continue to have Unga Echidnas who become the most advanced species. I just think that's really funny.
Yeah, I couldn't help but laugh at like showing like evolution, and it's like, of course, the example is Echidnas, so it's like, yes, the Echidnas were like the best, smartest race that were. Like, oh, fuck off.
I'll have something more to say about this later on. Unrelated, but related.
I'm excited to hear it, but like, there's a panel where Sonic's, you know, where he's doing the changing to different forms, that he's just like, "Whoa, I'm like changing, becoming supersonic." And I'm like, all I could think of, like, is he's channeling his Shaggy? Like, "Whoa, I'm like changing, becoming
like
supersonic."
Scoob, I need to get the Reggie. Let's get the Reyes Emeralds. Like you said it, buddy. All right, gang. Let's split up and look for clues.
What's really sucky is that he just never, spoilers I guess, but he just doesn't really end up using any of these forms again. So it really do be just color palette swap OC Sonic. He's got Nazo Sonic and Jeff Hogg Sonic.
No one's gonna get that.
No one will understand that last. Well, Nazo maybe, but like, There was a green Sonic. If you know, you know. All I can say is you had to be there. Jeff, if you're listening to this, I doubt it, but I can't believe you were in the Sonic comic in 1997.
This is some deep lore you're getting into right now.
Yeah, that's right. That's me, the lore master.
I mean, I don't think any of these were particularly interesting super designs, so it's not really too much of a miss if they don't show up again.
No, but it's like kind of, I don't know, a little bit of a bummer. It's like you had a whole name for it: Solar Sonic, Ultra Sonic, and it's like
Ultra Instinct Sonic.
Yeah, you're right. Dark Spine Sonic was so much better.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up, you edgelord. I have a note in here that's just like, okay, by page 9, I got a little confused. I understand why the boys hate these asynchronous stories, but yeah, no, but like, I mean, overall, I really do enjoy these. Like, I liked this concept a lot.
I like this one.
I do think it was creative, but yeah, I was a little confused and not enjoying myself like reading through it. Mm-hmm. And then even like I tried reading it backwards, and then I'm like, I'm still confused, actually.
It's because what it is it goes back and forth. So when the beam hits the Knothole Village, they start going backwards in time. And then when Sonic and Sally leave, they're going back forwards in time, so they have to figure out what's going on. Then when he gets hit, he has to hit the thing as soon as the 3-hour mark basically resets, because you know how the village was 3 hours ahead, so they're trying to sync back up, and that's why it was like going back and forth. That's why it was going from like 20 minutes to 40 minutes back to like 30 minutes back to, because it's like relative to like the village, it was like this long ago, and then relative to the outside world is this time ago. It was like I said, it's a good idea. It's just very a little convoluted in some places.
I do like how much they stuck to the bit by doing stuff like showing the backup story and fan art first, and then doing the main story backwards and whatnot.
Yeah, that was really good. I really like that. It was so cool. Like everything about this issue was just like a attention to detail type beat. Bob mentioned something about like Sonic doing something to get out of Knothole Village. It was a reference to the Flash. Where Flash vibrates himself so fast he's able to like pass through stuff. So he's like, yeah, so he does that. We use my supersonic speed to vibrate the molecules in our bodies. We could pass through this barrier and get out of here. So it's just like the Flash. Honestly, I was expecting MG to bring that up.
I figured you guys would catch on to that one.
Yeah, it's a pretty low-hanging fruit. He does that in a bunch of the animated media, so...
Honestly, I forgot about that, to be honest.
I have one final note on this issue where Rare Sonic W, where he defends another male and has kind words to say, where the King Max is like chastising Elias and stuff, but for leaving on that mission with Jeffrey St. Stink, and Sonic's like, well, actually, no, like, if it wasn't for him, he had, clear-headed reasoning. We would have screwed things up without him. I was like, wow, this is so out of character for Sonic. This is definitely backwards. But yeah, that's the main, that's all I got.
I guess there was one thing I missed, but that was interesting when the Thanks Ken Pender's blog pointed it out about the backup story, is that like, oh, this that little backstory contradicts the backstory Ballers gave for the creation of Mobotropolis like 6 issues ago. Like, that's awkward.
Yeah, it's the fight of the who wrote that one, or who wrote this one? I mean,
the main story here was Carl Bowler's, but that specific backup story was Ken Pender's.
Oh,
to give possible benefit of the doubt, this might just be like maybe they wrote those stories simultaneously, and maybe this was an editor fuck up.
It's possible. Well,
or maybe
continue.
Maybe nobody on board cared too much about that sort of plot consistency in a Sonic the Hedgehog comic. Who can say?
What was the Bowlers one? I don't remember, because this story started in 65, which isn't that long ago. It's like 6 issues back.
What do you mean by this story?
The whole library, because the library story started in Sonic 65, I believe, where it's Amy going with Dulcie to the library. That's where the whole Jack Kirby bit began. Like this story, like with the library, isn't new. Like this happened in a different issue. Like this story thread by I don't even know if Ken Penders wrote it originally, but yeah. So when did the Carl Bowlers, like what was in the Carl Bowlers thing that contradicted this?
Well, the thing here was, correct me if I get details wrong, but like here it's like the first king essentially made Mobotropolis, but then with the Bowlers story, like it was specifically Nate Morgan that helped create Mobotropolis.
I think I see what the confusion is. Because it's more like non-specific. It's really weird because in the story they have Mobotropolis being built with like high-tech machinery, but then it's like a medieval town after the completion. Like there's like trucks and like hard hats and stuff, but then the town is completed and it looks like a medieval town. So, it's like Mobotropolis itself maybe existed in a different form. However, it kind of contradicts itself in literally 3 panels where it's like here's this heavy machinery constructing the city, and then the city appears and it's like a 1700s like town, like burg, European burg, because it's got like the wooden houses and the stuff, even though they're using concrete and crap like that. So yeah, I do know what you mean, but yeah, it is weird. But I'm sure like it was something where it's like, oh, this is inconsequential. It's like the founding of the thing that would be once known as Mobotropolis.
Right.
But yeah, that's all I had. So yeah, I like this issue. I don't know, it was good. Yeah. It was fun.
Good start.
Yeah, good start. All right, and then we're moving on to Sonic Super Special number 9, Sonic Kids 2.
So, the young freedom fighters have a snowball fight. Sonic slips and accidentally throws a snowball into the house of Sally's nanny. Sally apologizes for the mess and says she wants to play to distract her from thinking about her dad, who is gone.
Crocodile tears.
Nanny says, go have fun. No, he died. Go have fun skating, I'll bring a snack later, she says. So after playing some ice hockey, Sonic goes to the well for a drink of water and finds a ring frozen in a bucket. The gang is like, let's go home and find a way to thaw it out, blah, blah, blah. In doing so, the gang hold hands and skate around in some kind of whip formation. Sonic loses control and they all slip and go tumbling into portals. Sally is transported alone into the roller coaster dimension where her car sends her crashing into a floating giant crystallized King Acorn head. Meanwhile, Antoine, Tails, and Rotor meet up in some other weird zone. The ancient walkers take notice of this, saying the young chosen one displays insight as Tails insists, blah, 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 we gotta stay together even this thing is trying to pull us apart. And then there's Sonic, who is by himself in a zone and finds Robotnik. And having not even met Sonic yet, Robotnik immediately decides to try to smash him with a big ball, a la Sonic 1. But he is no match for Sonic, even at this age. So Robotnik calls him a blue boob, and then Sonic finds his way back home with his friends, who all made it back safely. After that, they gave us a Sally sub-story where she goes on a trip with her dad to explore the floating island for a few days. They arrive. Knuckles finds them, and they're there in secret. Sally notices Knuckles and brings him out. They get along well. They become friends. And then Sally shoves him, calling his island silly. Knuckles didn't like that. It involves in roughhousing. Knuckles accidentally bonks his head into a tree and knocks it over, feeling bad that he did that at the ecosystem. Sally feels bad that she started it, so the two make up and they're friends now. Knuckles' dad, Locke, calls him away, of course, from his free time to read Bible verses, so the two go their separate ways. And our third and last thing, I just wrote Destruction. That's not the whole title. But this episode goes way back to when Tails was not born yet. Sonic, Sally, Antoine, and Rotor play dodgeball, and they talk about Miss Prower, and that she could have the baby any day now. So Tails' dad, Amadeus, and his mom Rosemary talk with one another, but against their wishes, duty calls, and Amadeus was asked by King Acorn to oversee the dissolution of the Mobian military. We hear from him that Mr. Julian was appointed as Acorn's minister, and that Charles had resigned as minister due to a classified incident, though we see what happened is that Sonic's dad was roboticized by mistake, I guess. They explain later that it's... I forget if this was ever specified before, but the roboticizer is supposed to be a medicinal thing, but Robotnik took it over, and now it's just his thing. But we'll get to that later. We find out about Sonic's dad. He leaves. Amadeus leaves for his job, and we see elsewhere Mr. Robotnik and Snively as Robotnik plots his scheme to toss Acorn into the Zone of Silence. And to test the roboticizer, an unfortunate beaver they kidnapped gets roboticized. The door to the room is assumedly accidentally open, and Amadeus looks inside to find out what's going on, even though he's supposed to knock first. He finds out about all this. Amadeus pulls out his gun, but a SWAT bot takes him away. Meanwhile, the baby's coming. The kids, who are in charge of watching the house, rush her to the infirmary in a little wagon. Tails is born. Robotnik, Snively, and the now roboticized robot dad has shown up for the occasion. Dad is all covered in cloth and glasses so that the villains don't get caught for mind-controlling Dad. Robot Dad doesn't care about his son, which causes Tails and Mom to start crying, but Sonic cheers up Tails, and we end on a highish note. And that's the end of the super special.
I didn't read this.
What?
I knew it. I knew this was coming.
It was
I read the Sally and Knuckles bit.
You hate the Sonic kids. I've ruined you. You know what? I've come back around it. I actually like this one. I didn't when I was reading all the comics. My first time reading the Sonic kids, dude. Maxwell the Legend. He's here. He's his art. I love it. I love the art in this. It just. I don't know. It just holds a special place in my heart.
I couldn't force myself to read the Sonic Kid stuff. I'm sorry.
It wasn't bad.
You cheater. Yeah, I thought this one was alright. I have no huge complaints.
Hey, I know what happened now, thanks to Bob's beautiful summary.
That's true. There is one thing I have. Who is this evil man? Why does Maxwell draw Anton so fucked up every time? He has such beautiful expressions. It was me. Why does
I plotted the roboticizer.
It was me the whole time.
Oh, Dorker just left.
there was
He's out just in time before you have to start the Knuckles thing.
So there was a bit in here that was like, they go to a well, the frozen bucket, and the comic's like, do you know how many times Sonic's been to this particular well? I don't. I wanted to, like, I was like, I Googled for like maybe 15-20 minutes trying to figure it out, because I wanted to really seem like a psychopath to you guys and be like, of course I know the answer, but I don't, because I'm not a psychopath. But does anybody have any idea how many times he's been to this well?
I don't even remember a particular well. This is a complete mystery to me.
I don't remember anything about the well.
Well.
The editors are actually insane. Why would they ask children to do this? Go look through your backlogs and double check.
I mean, if you're young and obsessive and into these comics, maybe that is the sort of detail you would just know as like a rabid fan. I don't know.
Yeah, and if you're old and obsessive like me, I would probably also find that out.
I didn't realize Sonic was holding a plate of corn in this scene.
Oh, I didn't either, actually. Oh, this was the inquiry. I just linked it. I have something here for you guys that I did because something, as the image name states, something is wrong with me. Enjoy my edit that I spent a little bit too much time on in MS Paint. Only MG will under, maybe Dorko. I don't know why, but the expressions in the one comic panel that had these guys sitting, I was like, Why do they look like they're sitting on the Jedi Council about to deliver the most rancid news to Anakin Skywalker?
What a very terminal Star Wars fan thought you had.
It was an instantaneous thing. I literally, I scrolled down to that comic issue and I was like, why do they look like they're all sitting on the Jedi Council?
Take a seat, young Skywalker. Anakin looks at young Rotor. Rotor gets up. Well, I better go find my family.
Oh, man. Oh.
Cut to Obi-Wan just shaking his head in disapproval.
Also, I want to... Yeah, I like the first story. I think it's weird that they needed to make it like, hey, the kids were referencing this, the fact that Tails had some kind of potential all the way back then. Also, Sally saw her dad's crystal head as a prediction of the future. Ooh. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. That was a little bit whatever. I liked I just like the Sonic fighting Robotnik and the very...
I hate to say it, for half a second when I was skimming through this, I saw the crystal head, and for like a microsecond, my brain just went, Andros!
I knew that's what you were going to say.
See, this is why you gotta read this.
Only I have the brains to rule Mobius.
In the second story, how does Sally's the smartest child in the world? This kid knows about contractions, about how labor works. What the heck? Like, because Sonic and gang speed Tails' mom to the hospital, and she's just going off on Sonic like, oh no, her contractions have started. She's going into labor. I'm like, girl, you're like 2 years old. What the hell?
They're just very powerful.
That's right. And then her dad, ever proving that King Max is a psychopath. What kind of an abnormal thing to say when you hold your his second in command child and he's just like, let me see my latest subject. What a weird thing to say. All I have in the notes is the king is a psychopath.
That's not new.
I'm expecting him just go, oh, cute little Miles, my newest subject. Mm. It helps in the polls, don't you know?
Yeah, that's right. No polls is a monarchy.
That's what you think.
I have a little fun fact here. That
Ooh.
So Ken Penders actually had referenced this particular issue before. That apparently it was just a debut. His Knuckles, the 20 years later storyline. But like they had the cover drawn and everything, and there was like almost all the script was finished. However, the plotline was rescheduled and replanned for a different release, the Sonic Super Special. But then it was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking ahead. This is for the Knuckles thing. My bad. Ignore that. You can remove that from the footage.
No, we're keeping that in.
Yeah. Anybody have you guys? So you guys have any thoughts? Any other thoughts about this one?
I was wondering if this caught anyone else's eye, where like that bit where Sally's like talking to Knuckles, and then she says like she's like the only child of King Acorn, ruler of planet Mobius, and I was like, wait, huh?
Yeah, he rules the whole planet, apparently.
I was like, wait, was this always a thing? Or is this, like, actually a big thing to just drop on it? And also, is this significant? Or is this a stupid line that's not actually going to come up?
It's somewhat significant. I mean, it kind of is and isn't. It is something that, like, they consider themselves the rulers of the planet ever since the Great War. But, like, it does come up in other things. I can't say like what, because it is part of the plot line of some stuff, so more to come, I guess. I don't know if it's a big thing to drop because it was kind of mentioned before, maybe not to this degree, but yeah.
Like I don't know, like this is before this. I was like, oh, he's the king of like a kingdom or whatever, or the village even. But then like here, it's just like ruler of the planet.
I'm God.
That's what he thinks.
Okay, that's one interpretation. And it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, that guy's just, like I said, he's a psychopath.
He's the real villain.
That's right. All right, Knuckles 25.
I was just gonna say real quick about the last story. It was just I thought it was funny, like the comics just doing that thing again of like, oh, their parents look exactly like them, and so like it legitimately confused me for a minute when it's like I just see Tails with an eye patch. I'm like, what's happening? I'm like, oh, that's his dad. I'm like,
you feel it too, don't you?
He still looks like a baby. Like, I understand
he aged gracefully.
It's happening again. We're getting the recolored echidnas all over again.
Like I understand, like I've given parents the same sort of design, I guess, but I feel like maybe they could have tried a bit harder to make him look older in some way. I don't know.
You gave him an eye patch, dude.
That was not enough for me.
It's the what's the project? The Enfant Sans Terrible project. He's just tails. It's a coffee. That's why he has two tails.
Oh, it's actually Metal Gear Solid with tails.
That's right. That's why he has the eye patch.
That's why he has two tails.
I wanted to say one more thing about the very end of that last story, which is I just think it's really cute. Just one more thing. I think it's really cute. I don't know. I like the way it ends, where Sonic just holds baby Tails and he's like, "We're gonna be fast friends," and they just hug the baby Tails just hugging his face. And
that was kind of cute.
I like that. It's cute. I like that.
Yeah.
I like these dynamics a little more than like the canon Sonic story where Tails is like kind of like following Sonic in a way that's like. And Sonic doesn't really respect him until he like sees like Tails' brains, and I'm like, I kind of like this more organic. Like they grew up together. It was cute. It's cute.
I don't know about that, man, but whatever.
Anyway,
Knuckles 25.
Knuckles 25. The impossible happened. Knuckles meets Locke and they hug. Though he kind of left his girlfriend without warning to go on a trip, and she didn't like that. Locke and Knuckles are on a trip to Haven. Here we fucking go. Locke explains that Haven was built starting out to be a simple facility for Steppenwolf and wasn't always some kind of secret to the Guardian. Steppenwolf found out that some overlanders were going to do them dirty thanks to the fire ant, so he emits some 5G rays to fry the overlanders' brains so that they'll fuck off. Steppenwolf reveals Haven to his son, and over the years, the Brotherhood was formed to protect against outsiders trying to fuck things up. I don't know. That's my cat playing with little grocery bags. Sorry about the noise.
It's all good. You're good.
Your cat's a special guest here.
And he made me lose my place in my summary.
Prevent people, outsiders, from fucking around on the island.
Yeah. What we see right after that is that one day a little echidna named Aaron gets caught up in an overlander attack. Them being allied with some guy from the Dark Legion. The villains activate a missile, and as the Legion guy tries to stop Aaron from tampering with the nuke midair, Aaron sacrifices himself to blow it up mid-trajectory. I feel like I'm missing a detail here, but I just moved right on in the summary. Right. So I just skipped to the part where Dad is like, so anyways, I was always there for you, son. Just from within my computer, I'm gradually teaching you self-reliance. I know I had to do this because the Ancient Walkers gave me visions of you getting killed because your enemies are just too strong.
This man's bullshit is so strong.
So to deal with this, Locke went to Aether for advice about the fate of his yet-to-be-born son. So what Locke did was inject himself with Superman juice, and then when Knuckles was in his egg, the egg was bathed with Chaos Emerald radiation. This is how I find out that echidnas lay eggs. He did all this so that Knuckles would have huge knuckles. And also Locke wears gloves like Knuckles, but they have fake knuckles for some reason. Anyways, Knuckles is like, what the fuck is your problem? He is displeased that he did all this rather than just letting his son be his son. But Locke meant well and basically says, blah, 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 I had to do this for the fate of the world. And Knuckles actually understands. So we close out this exposition bomb with Locke finally being a dad and asks Knuckles to hang out just for the sake of hanging out. No bullshit. That's the end. Thoughts?
Man,
He threw
so
his baby into a microwave. a radioactive microwave. And apparently, in reference to this story, Ian Flynn has a nickname for Knuckles where he calls him the Hot Pocket of Destiny.
Oh god. I like how this story just starts off with a disembodied head in Knuckles' hands. This is pretty good. It goes kind of hard, man.
Yeah, but I have a big issue with this issue.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't explain how Knuckles gets purple eyes.
Shut up. No, they do later.
Stop.
Oh no.
Anyway, I put together the double page stuff for your ease of enjoyment, question mark. This is the face of a man who's got a shit. Knuckles is dead. By the way, let me just say, bullshit. The way that Locke has like a 10, like a 180, as if he didn't just try to run away from Knuckles because he got caught. He's like, oh, Knuckles, I didn't see you there. Fuck you. Shut the fuck up, you piece of shit. I'm so upset. I hate this man. He's so rancid.
I actually don't remember how 24 ended, so...
No, it is not even 24. Like, he literally, like, it starts. It was that one riot with the Echidnas, like, that one dude, Benedict, who was actually a robot in disguise, and he, like, melted down, so that's why Knuckles has that disembodied head. But, I mean, like, Locke literally, like, runs away from Knuckles for, like, 2 pages, and the moment that Knuckles catches up and he hugs him, he's just like, we have a lot to discuss, but not here. Let's go. Like, man, you're the worst.
Why do they even
You're
go
a
that
little
way
slime.
to discuss? Why do they even go to him to discuss this?
I guess, reveal everything in the area that it's, I don't know.
Me looking at Locke being like, you piece of shit! You goddamn fucking fucker! Listen here, you little bitch! Jump off Angel Island.
Jump off Angel Island.
Floating Island. Sorry.
Sorry, yeah, it's not Angel Island. Yeah, that's right. It's Floating Island. I have an image to display Julie Sue's experience in this situation that I also put together that took too much time. I don't know why I was inspired to make 2 images here today.
It happens.
Not today, but in general.
It happens.
Yeah, no, I also have another problem where Knuckles immediately, I guess, has amnesia and forgets what fire ants could do, even though all of the things that Archimedes did through the last 24 issues of this comic series. Come on, man. Get it together.
Yeah.
We get introduced to a power line looking Echidna from the hit Goofy movie.
You know, I do like the art in this issue.
Yes, all right. I like it too. This is pretty, like, it's still Manny Gallen. What I like about this comic sort of series from this around this time frame is that you can see a lot of the artists who they just get better. Most of them do get better. Not all, unfortunately. But it's really nice. Like, this art's like really detailed, like the shading work, the wrinkles on people's faces. Yeah, referencing back that image that I said that this is the face of a man who has to shit. I mean, like, that facial expression aside, like, there's a lot of detail work in it. Even in like the backgrounds, it's really nice. I like it.
Yeah.
And even after all that explanation that Locke did, like, there was no decent reason for the whole pretend you're dead and guide from the computer shadows. Like, it makes no sense. And it's like Knuckles like, oh, that's fucked up. It's like, but I had to do it. Oh, okay.
Okay. Dude, listen, I had a vision of you in a cool hat. I had to do it. Oh, understandable.
Oh no.
And by the way, I just linked in this image because you are every bit of a mutant freak I wanted you to be. Like, you are every bit the genetically enhanced mutant offspring you were intended to be. You are a psychopath. What is wrong with the fathers in this series? They're so bad. They're horrible. Who says that to their son? You are every genetically enhanced mutant, even if that's exactly what he is. You could have just said, you are exactly, as I loved you. Or like, I love the way that you like anything that's positive. This man cannot stand like in front of his son for 5 minutes and say something positive about him without making it like in the most backwards way. I had to abandon you. It was for your own good, so you would be taught self-reliance. Oh, but also I saw a vision of you. That was the other reason. Not as important as all the other bullshit I just spewed. What, that wasn't enough for you? Okay, it was the vision. Oh, okay, that's good enough. All right, fuck you. Fuck you, Locke. Fuck you, Ken Benders.
I had to give you large knuckles.
Fuck this shit. I hate this fucking comic. The biggest lie ever told in this freaking comic so far. Right here. I love you, and I love you, son. Yeah, right. Suck on an echidna egg.
What are they gonna do for fun?
Look, no, you know what would have been more accurate? Knuckles looks to Locke. I love you. Locke goes, I know.
Yeah, that would have been so much better. What are they gonna do for fun? I don't know. Play catch with the Master Emerald.
Yeah.
The big emerald. I don't know. Yeah, that's my feelings. I don't have anything else to say. The art's nice. The story makes me angry. I actually liked the background story somewhat. I just kind of like this like view into some of the earlier echidnas and like how really it was like one scarred old man who ruined like the transparency of the system because the Guardian did his job. Question, like, I don't know, like, okay, I guess I do have some issues where it's like, damn, my son died doing his job, the job that we all signed up for, that we all risk our lives doing, but now I'm going to make sure that my other son who took on the mantle is going to be taught everything completely differently. Why? Like, it's because he's like, what the hell? Like, I just don't get it. Like,
it's just the Knuckles way of bad writing. It's not something to look too much into, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
You try and make sense of it too much, you go insane.
That's why I've always looked at it high level. Now that I'm analyzing it, it hurts. It's like looking into the sun for too long. You can look up at the sun. It's very pleasant. It's very nice. You can see the general shape, everything. But then you look away. And that's how I read through the Knuckles comics every time. And now I'm forced to look. Any thoughts, Bob, Harv?
It wasn't great.
Thank you.
It was just old Knuckles. This just wasn't great.
All right. I guess if that's that, then Sonic 72.
Yeah.
Sure. So, Rotor goes to separate ways from the gang as his people are still stuck mind controlled from way back when Robotnik took over, because that's still not resolved yet. After that, a bunch of radio devices that they're calling telecrates were distributed throughout the land so that King Acorn can make a statement regarding Queen Alencia and the defeat of Ixis that he says, but it's more like he got away, but whatever. Chester Cheetah makes a cameo. And King Acorn begins the broadcast, but the funny satellites interrupt the broadcast to bring everybody a biography of Dr. Robotnik, displaying himself as a baby, his brother Colin, and the time he came up with the Ultimate Annihilator, which was rejected by his own brother, who became the Minister of Justice. Then Julian escapes jail, gets found by King Maximilian, replaces Kodos as warlord. sabotages the roboticizers, blah, blah, blah. It's supposed to help the wounded. And a bunch of flashbacks to stuff we've seen already and broadcast. That was weird. Anyways, it's probably nothing. Sonic gets with his parents and tries to explain it's awkward trying to keep in touch with them since he's too used to being a freedom fighter. And then they hug it out. Meanwhile, someone has footage of Snively causing a lot of trouble that helped lead to his uncle's downfall, and he's not happy about it. Afterward, we get a continuation of the Tales Library thing. This is coming from the story. Foxman Emerson meets human nicknamed Paladin. Paladin showed up in this forest to go play target practice with his revolver. All is well until he takes him at a little bluebird. Emerson panics and takes the bullet because don't hurt the wildlife. Paladin freaks out about his mistake and then runs away, but Emerson's father, King Theodore, finds the body and finds this overlander getting away. And this is why the king would enact a no-gun policy, which Tales' book explains would escalate into war. The end.
I feel like you glossed over this.
I glossed over something.
But, I mean, at the very end of the first story, we're revealed that Robotnik is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
I refer to him as someone. He has...
Because he's the Shadow Eyes.
He's like, I should have been more specific. He's like looking right at Snively, who appears to have footage of Snively and like all these cameras of him causing trouble.
Yeah. Seeing him... he was the guy who sabotaged the Ultimate Annihilator to also hit Robotnik, and I want to say, like, this particular issue, this cover, everything about this, it's very nostalgic to me, specifically, like this issue and this cover. I don't know what it is, but it's like one of the ones I remember all the contents of this comic when I see this cover.
There's something weird about seeing Sonic Adventure Sonic next to Sad AM Robotnik.
Mm-hmm. It's a weird, like, I think that's why I like it. Is it's novel, unique, something you wouldn't see in another Sonic content, because it's like they all have their own sort of...
It's to look into a weird timeline where Sonic's design evolved, but Eggman still looks like this.
Yeah, exactly. And I like it. I think it's cool.
I thought it was a neat cover.
I don't know why, but it's just like, I mean, this is very personal for me, but like I like this. This issue itself was pretty cool. I mean, it's essentially, this is the anime what's it called, recap episode. Yeah. Which except it done in a really fun way where it's, you know, this is Robotnik's version of the events. That being said, this one hits quite a bit. This panel where it's talking about how Robotnik sabotaged the roboticizer, and like Uncle Chuck did that to his brother, and I think it's the first time that it's addressed with everybody in the room. And it's kind of like, damn, this is the worst way for this to come out to everyone in the kingdom. Like that, you know, Uncle Chuck's been like kind of self-flagellating himself over this, you know.
I did like this shot, like, no, not even words. It was like, oh shit.
Yeah, and his brother just, I don't know, it just hits. This is one of those, this issue right here, I don't know, this is the one. I like this one a lot. I remember this one. This is one of the high points for me.
I think I do struggle a little bit because, you know, conceptually with like a recap, like there's something about it that kind of makes me want to fall asleep. Even though I do, like, I see like they were very creative with it and had fun with it.
Yeah, for as far as like anime recap episode good, it was actually pretty good. The way they did it was cool, like MegaFire said, and they had some pretty good shots, like that one.
You know,
but I must say, I didn't think the big Robotnik comeback would be this soon. I thought it was going to be like another 20 issues.
Oh, yeah. You know how I always say this, where it's like, I like the high level. This is kind of what I mean, like where it's like when you look at through all of this, you know, like it's not convoluted. It's fairly straightforward, and it's kind of, and I think it's a pretty interesting and compelling like backstory, you know, albeit through the perspective of a person who, you know, the what's the word, the unreliable narrator. But like, it's cool. Like, I like this. It's like, it's Carl Bowler's basically taking all these stories that were written and condensing them into a cohesive form. And I appreciate that. I dig that, and I like this. And this is kind of like in my memory banks. Like, if I'm thinking about like, what was the plot with Robotnik? Oh, it was a good one. It's this. It's not not drawn out. It's really concise. It's straightforward. And then you get into like the weeds, and it's like, well, okay, shit, fuck. I mean, there's all these issues and contradictions, but here it is, kind of laid out as the story wants you to interpret it, I guess. Yeah. Also, the art was nice in this one.
Yeah.
Before I forget, I do want to say, like, when I saw Chester Cheetah, I literally did a spit take.
Yeah.
Like, scrolling down, Chester Cheetah!
They actually used him twice. He's in like one of these frames where they're doing the autobiography.
And he still has...
Did they have like a brand deal, or was this another example of no copyright law in the universe is going to stop Sonic?
I did not look into it. Honestly, I want to keep going with the fact that it was no copyright, because there's like, I don't think
I just
so.
thought it was funny.
I mean, it's funny, yeah.
Also, shout outs to Samantha Fuller, one of the kid artists in this at the end, who drew this fantastic piece of Hershey. I love these, dude. These are I love going to the back and seeing the kids' drawings of stuff. I don't know. I love it.
Yeah.
Also, the little pro art piece at the very end, Susan Paddock and Pam Eklund, kind of really cute. Very reminds me of the cartoon. I don't know if I don't actually know who those two are, but the style like really reminded me of the cartoon. Yeah, I don't know. Any other thoughts?
I will say one line that scared me is Sonic saying, especially when Sal told me that we'd have to start school again.
I highlighted that line and I was like, somebody else is going to bring this up. I know who. And he did.
Like, oh boy.
Personally, I can't wait for the high school arc.
I mean, I'm curious.
I think I'll hate it. I just hope it's funny and not like boring. Kind of hate it.
I know I hated it, and I hated a lot of parts of it. There's some good, but we'll talk about it when we get there. But if I'm saying that, then that must mean that there's something. It's definitely a low point. I remember when people were like, when I was talking to Dorko, like, oh, you should read through this comic years ago, and he like found that one like timeline of the peaks and troughs of this comic's quality and story, and I saw that and I was like, that's probably the high school, right? And then yeah, we talked about it. I was like, yeah, that's pretty. It's a pretty rough patch. Although I also did point out that I disagreed with that, where I thought it kind of got better a little sooner than it displayed. But again, that's might be like just on a high level, but whatever.
We'll find out.
We will find out. Sabrina the Teenage Witch, number 28. It all goes back to Sabrina.
Why?
Welcome to our little bit.
So, can I just like skip to the Sonic part of this summary?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, we're
No,
gonna try to keep this brief.
Thor's important.
Well,
we tie into the Marvel universe now.
I will say one thing about the crossover with the four horsemen. The four Norsemen. I thought that was really funny. When I read through this comic, because it had Sonic in it, I always read through the first part, and I was like, this kind of makes me want to read the Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I never did commit, but I always thought it every time.
So, starting with the one where Sonic actually shows up, Enchantra installs a computer. She uses her powers. She merges her powers with the internet. She just, I don't know. She just like psychics her way into a monitor. That's how it works. And she finds Mobius. She travels there to see Sonic and Sally into the desert, having an argument. And then Sonic is kidnapped. He is hypnotized into being her henchman. And then Sonic is sent to Sabrina's house and gets into a fight with Sabrina and her cat. And as they keep tricking him into running into walls, Sally and Nicole somehow make their way to this world and show up at the house. And this issue ends with Sally Nicole, Sabrina, and Salem in a standoff against a very angry, hypnotized Sonic. I have no Miracle Matter. Yeah, I thought that too.
You forgot Miracle Matter appears when she looks into the internet. I don't actually know if that's supposed to really be Miracle Matter, but I can't.
No.
There's no way. Come on. What else could it be?
I don't know. It's just an egg.
No, it's Miracle. Also, if you click on the image, ignore the fact that I named it the wrong thing. It's not 02. Please forgive my insolence, Bob.
No, perish.
Based Salem, great take. I only read Sonic the Hedgehog now. Me reading comics as a kid.
Do we even have anything to say about this other than the fact that it leads to a Sonic crossover?
No, it's
not really.
I just wanted people to know that there was a Sonic, like a little Sonic story in Sabrina.
Because I didn't even hate it, but I think we're good on this one. We're just going to try to keep it brief and move on to the other super special.
I mean, it also the story finishes there. And yeah, I don't really have anything particular to say.
So I'm just going to continue into the whole super special. It picks up right where we left off with the Sabrina episode. She zaps Sonic to somewhere else, and our team proceeds to discuss the situation. Enchantress communicated to Sonic, who was sent all the way to Mount Everest. He's directed back to Westbridge High School. Nicole tracked him, and then the gang teleports to intercept him. Sonic begins aggressively running in circles around Sabrina until he gets zapped into a tree and he gets knocked out. The rest of the team confronts Enchantress at her lair office thing. Sally threatens to dox Enchantress so that all the villains from the Sonic world would trash her place. It's quite seriously a dox threat.
It literally is. I didn't think about that.
As they negotiate, Sonic arrives with his mind back to normal. Sabrina's also shown up. Enchantress says, fuck this. She sends the Sonic characters back to their home with no memory of what happened. And then Enchantress explains to Sabrina why she was so upset in the first place. I didn't explain because I skipped that part of the summary. She used her name in like a grade school paper, and she's upset about it. And Sabrina spins it, saying she used her name as an example of her beauty, and she takes the excuse. And then she sends Sabrina back home, and then all is well. And then we'll never see Sabrina the Witch ever again. Our next side story is... starts off in an alt universe where one of the evil Sonics live. It's some Sonic variant that we've seen before. It's some sort of gangster punk Sonic with sunglasses. This is where he lives. He lives in some sort of alt universe where Robotnik is an environmentalist and the freedom fighters are all punks littering and everything. Evil Sonic doesn't currently have a plan to get through Robotnik's force field, so the rest of his gang walk out on him because apparently he's not much of a go-getter like he used to be. They're sick of him. And then Robotnik, the bad one, teleports in and then offers him a new job. The real freedom fighters are having a picnic when suddenly they are met by the zone-hopping guy, cop from Sonic Special 8. Sonic is brought to Zonic's headquarters. Apparently a bunch of alternate Sonics that battled the giant robot in a past issue were tricked into handing over a piece of the robot that they all kept so that it wouldn't get rebuilt. All this with the exception of the Sonic from the Sonic Underground TV show. So Sonic and the cop decide to meet up with this Sonic for help. And we get into a big lore drop of Sonic Underground story. TLDR, their Robotnik enslaved everybody. Sonic's mom and the kids went their separate ways to protect their lives, and now they want to reunite. So meanwhile...
They made a vow that mother would be found.
Meanwhile... Evil Sonic, he's apparently just called Evil Sonic. He brings the robot parts to Robotnik, but he mistakenly met up with Robotnik from Sonic Underground, who has no idea what's going on and doesn't know why Sonic is acting like this. So he sends Evil Sonic to prison, and then our Robotnik, who gave him this job in the first place, decides to cut his losses because now the wrong Robotnik has the robot. So Underground Robotnik...
Yet, dear readers?
Underground Robotnik now has control of the giant robot and attacks Robotropolis. The two good Sonics team up and defeat him by having a missile track one Sonic while the other one ambushes. Afterward, the heroes get Evil Sonic out of Robotnik's prison and enter their own prison because they prefer this to him getting roboticized. The end.
Yup.
Yeah.
This not cover, but like the page afterwards. First off, there's Mega Man. Second off, I kind of dig the way that a few of these characters look because they remind me of like old Mad, like art, like the Mad TV art, Mad magazine. Sally, Rotor, and Anton specifically look kind of freaky.
Wait, that is Mega Man.
Huh?
That is Mega Man. What the hell?
Yeah, it's Mega Man. I wasn't kidding. There's Mega Man. He's tagged on the wall.
There he is.
Man, hinted at things way later on, huh?
Yeah.
I didn't want to post this part just because I thought the art was pretty funny.
Yeah, I love this.
Very,
Dude, I just got a
very nice drawing of old Enerjack.
fucking square head.
What?
You blockhead. Very Hanna-Barbera.
So when I went into this, I somehow missed half the cover. So when I got to the full page spread of the Sonic Underground cast, that's when I typed "yo" in this chat.
Oh yeah, you got really okay. I was wondering. I was like, I thought you like that's a very interesting. But yeah, no. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I was really happy with the fact that they decided to do a I guess like a collaboration
tie-in.
And it's the perfect time to do it too. They just went to like modern Sonic's design, so he looks different than like the classic Sonic in Underground.
Yeah, exactly. I think
Like Sonic Generation.
If it was the old Sonic design, the only way you tell them apart is the medallion on Underground Sonic.
Yeah. Who made these awesome chili dogs? You were a bunny. Antoine.
I thought that was pretty funny.
He may not like Sonic, but damn it, he gets that chili just right.
Uncle Chuck was going to be on a run for his money with these.
Yeah, so I'll say I was tuned. It was enjoyable, I guess, the Sabrina crossover to an extent. Then I read the Sonic Underground part. I'm like, I am back, baby. I am so here for this.
I didn't know you were a Sonic Underground enthusiast.
I'm not really, but I love the theme song.
We are so
I was kind of wondering about that myself because I was like thinking about this where I'm like, I don't know why, because I mean, objectively, Sonic Underground is like a garbage cartoon, probably like the worst Sonic show.
Yeah.
But simultaneously, I have like a fondness for it, and I'm not entirely sure why. Or like, I don't know if this is like a side effect of me younger being obsessive over everything Sonic, or the theme song just goes that hard, or I just really want there to be a green Sonic character. And, to be more clear, a Sonic but he's green character.
Well, do I have good news? Anyway, you know what that means? We have to watch Sonic Underground for this podcast.
We never bother with Sonic. We never bother with Sonic 7 AM. Just Sonic Underground.
So two things.
But wait, Bob, what were you saying?
Oh, yeah, Bob.
I said, can we just watch the episode where Knuckles is animated really funny?
Yeah.
That brings up one or two things I wanted to talk about. So, first off, glad to see Starfleet is active in the Sonic Underground universe.
It's Porkins.
And, god damn it. Wrong franchise.
Oh, that's Star Wars. I almost said Star Fox.
That's Pigma.
Yeah.
And second, I am very shocked at the non-use of Knuckles in the Sonic Underground part. Because he's in the Sonic Underground cartoon.
Yeah. I wonder why. Well, who's writing this one? Not if it's not Ken Penders, of course not.
Oh yeah, that probably just raises questions of like how much they knew or saw about the cartoon. Like I'm assuming the Knuckles episode was pretty late too. I don't know. I mean, I know this comic came out like the same year that the cartoon was airing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was 1999. This one came out.
It's funny how they could get away with like just just the exact same Robotnik design, because it's the exact same in Sonic Underground and Sad AM.
Also, Carl Bowlers was the writer, so I suppose there was no inclination to shove Knuckles in there.
Yep.
Oh, excuse me, I'm wrong. I am incorrect. They get Robotnik's design wrong. I'm sorry. This comic's ruined.
What? Did they really?
Yes. Not.
He had the big shoulder pads, though.
No.
What did they do wrong?
It's such a minor little difference, but it's something I thought someone in continuity would catch. He has his right arm exposed, and in Sonic Underground, that's the only change between the Robotnik design, is that he has a long sleeve on it. It's literally the only difference. It's literally the only difference.
I hope someone got fired for that blunder.
What were
but
they thinking?
He doesn't have his... Hold on, he never shows his right arm, right?
Yeah, he does.
Oh yeah, when he's in the mech. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, it's like one frame. It's not even a frame. It's like one small, tiny image of him in a frame.
What were they thinking?
Oh no, he also has it in the Wait, no, it's the cape is right there for his right arm in the big spread, where it's doing the recap of Sonic Underground.
There, have a very handy design chart. I'm sorry, viewers at home. Maybe MegaFire can link this.
Yeah, I'll save it and put it in there. Show notes. I actually, yeah, you're right.
It's so mildly, minorly different that really, you really can't even tell, honestly.
Also, I told you guys to remember Sonic Underground.
Oh, I never forgot.
Way back. It's a long time ago.
You know, this does make me sad that Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog Robotnik never shows up.
That's true. He's kind of like the...
Unless he does show up.
I actually can't answer that with confidence. I have a little game for you guys. Look how many references are in this one.
Can
you spot them all?
Mechasonic.
Yeah, Mechasonic. He's like front and center. It's so good.
I was just amazed there was a Sonic mermaid in there.
You want me to try and speed run the references real fast?
Yes.
Alright. Mermaid Sonic, Angel Sonic, Sherlock Sonic, Fat Sonic, Old Man Sonic, Punk Sonic, Russian Sonic, Cowboy Sonic, Chef Sonic, America Sonic, Satan, Fire Sonic, Linebacker Sonic, Crystal Sonic, Dumbass Sonic, Diplomatic Graduate Sonic, Trans Right Sonic,
Archie Sonic. Archie Sonic.
I'm trying to think of a Spanish name that I could give Sonic. Oh well.
All right. What's your favorite Sonic?
Wizard
I like the Ghost
with a
Sonic.
gun Sonic.
I actually really love Nick Fury Sonic.
I like Gun Sonic and Weird Lego Sonic.
I think that's Terminator Sonic, right? That's hidden by the text box, like right next to Hulk Sonic.
Yeah, that's the Robo Sonic.
Actually, I was joking about the wizard with a gun Sonic, but I actually kind of like it now. I think that's what were they thinking is sort of like what I thought at first, but now I'm like, this is he's actually just got a wizard's hat and a gun.
You know what? I think my favorite Sonic's the one at the very, very right of the panel.
Satan?
No. Even right and down below that. Just weird eye Sonic, Circle Sonic.
Oh, wait. What the heck?
Is it like a diver suit or something?
No, right above that.
Oh.
Next to Lawyer Sonic.
Oh, that was hard to see. What is that?
What is that?
Geometric Sonic? I don't fucking know.
That's a Adventure Time Sonic.
Right there. I found my favorite Sonic. It's a Starfleet Sonic right there.
Starfleet Sonic?
Right below Dumb Sonic. Near the top.
Ah, I see.
Oh, okay, I see it. What about yours, Dorko? What's your favorite Sonic?
That's a very tough question.
He loves all Sonics.
Wait a minute. Oh, I just noticed something for the first time. On the left, under Fat Sonic, Isn't that the one of the specific like renders of Sonic from? I think it's either Sonic Pinball or Sonic 3D Blast.
It does look similar.
Yeah, that's so cool. I never noticed that. That's cool. Awesome.
I know what your favorite is now.
Well, it's not my favorite. Yeah, okay, this maybe no.
You know what? I also do like Mario Sonic.
Spider Sonic, Mecha Sonic's my favorite.
Actually, I am a sucker for just about any Mecha Sonic.
I feel like this is the second time I've said this, but like they keep doing it. They keep bringing the Sonic laugh back. That makes you think of the One Adventure 2 render or a Sonic Adventure 1 render.
Well, now it makes sense because it's that design.
Yeah, it is. I wonder if it's like actually because he's doing the thing with his feet too and everything.
It's a coincidence, I think.
Maybe.
Or is it?
Moist Robotnik mouth. It's so back.
Hey guys, we're so back. Is that all we have to say about the special?
Yeah, it was cool.
I think we're about to move on, but I think we got sidetracked.
I just remember looking at my notes, the gag of evil Sonic leader position being replaced by quote unquote evil Saint John.
Yeah.
I did think
Good
that
gag.
was actually funny, but then it also just raises the question of what makes evil Saint John evil? Because regular.
He
He's
respects
actually the
women.
nicest one on the team.
He's a nice person.
Yeah, I think this is unrealistic. I think the evil version should actually be a nice guy.
He gets Sally in the end.
Evil Saint John be like, Sally, I respect your boundaries. Okay. I did forget to mention something back in regards to Knuckles 25. At the very end of the comic, there was something that said like, "Oh, look forward to Knuckles 20 years later" story. And according to Ken Penders, that story actually was like, it never happened. Sort of. It was supposed to happen in the next super special, which is the super special we read, the crossover one. But it never actually got published. The script was pretty much done, and then it was delayed, and then it was rescheduled, and then it just kind of was canceled after like the super special was canceled because the super special only lasted 15 issues. Spoilers, I guess. It lasted 15 issues, and they kept pushing it back until that super special got canceled, and so they never published the 20 years later storyline. But it will like kind of bits and pieces of the script will appear again in future storylines. So yeah, I kind of wanted to point that out. I thought that was a fun tidbit because it was something I never thought about. Even though I had never remembered that there was going to be a Knuckles 20 years later story, and yeah, and the reason why it never really happened was because of just kept getting pushed back until it got canceled. That's it. That's all I had.
Yeah.
Yeah. 73.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sonic
73.
the Hedgehog. We are so back, baby.
So, as an anniversary present, Sonic gives his parents a Power Ring wedding bands made by Nate Morgan. Afterward, Prince Elias, I don't know how to pronounce it. Elias tells his sister that he doesn't actually want to rule the kingdom. And then later, still, Sally gathers the Freedom Fighters and also Nate Morgan to point out she discovered 9 satellites around the planet. And then they deduce that they each had to do with some kind of event that they had to deal with in past issues, including the time beam, the fireballs, the weird stuff like that. And the last one being the satellite over Nahul. And I believe that was the same one that actually shot the time beam. So Sonic's reaction to finding this out is to check on Nahul Village, only to find it's been abandoned and it's completely empty, and it's not funny. And then we move on to the continuation of the library short story. We pick up on Tails reading the history book, and Uncle Chuck appears. They ask him how the Great War got started. So after Emerson died, Ixus's minion Kodos blamed it on Nate Morgan. Good job, Kodos. But Kodos makes a move to betray Ixus, but as he swings his axe, only then does he find out Ixus actually isn't there in person. Oops. But later on, a scout from each side of the war plotted to de-escalate things, but Kodos found out about this and declared the Mobian scout a traitor. And then backstabbing got worse as Robotnik joins the Mobians. And that's the end. Can anyone tell me what Kodos' deal is? Why he's causing trouble, but is working for Ixus, but then he's not. I don't know the Stu's deal anymore.
He's a bitch.
I lost track. Okay.
I don't know. He's evil and loves war.
He's just a warmonger. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. He works for... Well, he doesn't work for Ixus. They kind of, like, plotted together. Because Ixus' whole thing is... I mean, that was covered in an earlier story where he's just seeking, the source of magic or whatever. And then Kodos is just, like, war good for me. And, yeah. So it is just a bunch of backstabbers in that court. Maximilian, you know what? Robotnik is right. Maximilian is actually a fool. He really has surrounded himself with the worst people possible.
You know, I never really thought about it, but he really did surround himself with, like, super villains.
Yeah, like I think what, like 6 out of the 5 people on his, like, circle, 3 were traitors. There's Kodos, Ixus, and Robotnik. The only 2 real, like, loyal people were Charles and Amadeus. So he really did screw the pooch on his council, like, completely, even before Robotnik appeared. Yeah, this is a really good still. I feel like this is a reaction image that I should use.
Not funny. Didn't laugh.
This isn't funny. Sonic stares into your soul.
You need to stop laughing now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a recap episode with added dialogue. It's like people, I feel like these last few that's mainly why I added so many, is like there's a lot of recap stuff that's tying together things in the past that we've seen. So I really wanted to just bundle that all together, get that out of the way, because from now on, it's like we're going to kind of start on a pretty big, more of the new major plots.
It's kind of a bummer, because it does feel like Robotnik's return has been like kind of 2 recap episodes, and I feel like it really dragged it down for me when I feel like this is something I should have been more excited about. But,
I think the reason they thought it wouldn't be that bad is because, again, looking at a perspective of it's coming out, month after month or whatever, like they had the recap episode, the first one, where Robotnik appears, like literally appears, and then you have the Sonic Super Special, where it's a plot that's by Robotnik just kind of acting in the shadows, so it's kind of building up the suspense. And then you have this one, which it is weird that they did that, where it's like recap, him doing a new thing, like a new plan against Sonic, and then it's also and then another recap. So yeah, right, it is kind of a bummer, but even like from the standards of looking at it like a month after month release, but I guess like maybe they wanted to finish covering the Great War story or whatever. I don't know. It was weird. It is weird.
So I do think it was a cute touch that each satellite was basically named a letter, and then they all joined together, and then it hits you like, oh, the satellites together spell out Robotnik.
Yeah.
I thought that was good.
Yeah, I like the satellites plot. I think setting this up the way, because they've been setting it up for a while now. I think the setup was cool. It's just kind of a strange way to execute this last bit.
Yeah.
73 was alright. It was just a bit of a sleepy, like, recap episode, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I just don't have any other thoughts on it in particular. What about y'all?
I mean, I'm just hoping for the future. Like, we got Robotnik back, so hopefully that means we get an entertaining villain again. Hooray!
Hooray.
I mean, Carl Bowler's been writing a lot more, so I think relatively all of us have been enjoying this way more than in the past.
Right.
So that's pretty exciting. The Knuckles story is almost over.
Yeah.
Constantly counting down how many Knuckles issues are left.
Yeah, you remember how like the satellites were counting down? Dorko's waiting on the button.
Just a bunch of satellites to spell out Knuckles. And then he's going to come back and we'll have to read like 50 more issues of Knuckles. The horror.
So this arc is actually wrapping up here in the next bit. Any other thoughts, by the way, before I wrap us up?
I mean, right now I was just thinking...
About the session in general or this issue?
Yeah, let's just overall.
Because I actually like the session. There's no... Knuckles was the only bad one. Which is funny, but yeah, it was the only bad one. Everything else was ranged from like all right to just solidly entertaining. I liked it. We are so back.
We are so back.
I was just thinking to myself right now, just out of the trio of Michael Gallagher, Ken Penders, and Carl Bowler's, I think my favorite is definitely Carl Bowler's. And it's like Gallagher's like okay, but even sometimes like it can be a little hard for me to get through his stuff. So
yeah,
that's fair.
So once again, I'm looking forward to more Carl Bowler's, I guess.
Yeah. I agree with that sentiment. I usually like it when other people are here and like writing like some of the one-offs and some of the few like the ones that do arcs. I like Mike Gallagher. I think it's interesting because Mike Gallagher went from like writing like these one-shots basically that were just more like I think you guys pointed out slapstick, kind of like cartoony, to he wrote some of the like I don't know. I found that there was some interesting like one-off. I think he wrote some of the other freedom fighters in. Like he would make some new characters that they weren't like super well used all the time, but he introduced some interesting things here and there. So I guess my feelings on him are kind of lukewarm. I appreciate his kind of style. I guess like it doesn't feel as heavy sometimes or as forcedly heavy. But yeah, I mean, definitely between the three, I mean, it's Bowlers for sure. Harvek, any thoughts on this session?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Hey, yeah. All right. Okay, well, for the next session, I know we're definitely reading through Sonic issue 73. Knuckles issues 26 through 28, and then I have to I say 73, my bad. We're definitely reading through Knuckles 26 through 28, and then we're probably reading through Sonic 74 through 77. I have to double check because it may be just 74 through 76 for the story arc. I don't like remember off the top of my head, but it's either going to be like 6 issues or 7. I'm trying to see. I'm hoping we can do 6 instead of 7 because we had some pretty big ones. But I know we definitely need 74 and 75 and 76 because these are like, we have to read them all in tandem. Otherwise, it leaves us in a place where it's like, oh, what the heck is that? Like there's some pretty big shifts.
Oh,
pretty big shifts. Yeah, I think 77 we can get away with not reading next time. I'll confirm it later. All right. Any final thoughts?
I've got nothing. I just wanted to hear my cat. Just looking at me for something.
We love Bob's cat.
Yeah, remember to like and subscribe.
So true. All right, thanks everybody. And remember,
they made a vow, their mother will be found.
Sonic underground.